Welcome back to the Lineout Lab. My name is Peter O'Donnell. Recently, I hosted a webinar on building a Lineout menu. I've now put together a few shorter videos looking at various aspects that I discussed in that webinar that you can check out over this series of videos. Before getting into it, if you're new to the channel, please click that like and subscribe button in the bottom right corner of your screen where you get access to loads of additional content from me. Please also like and share the video to help the discussion grow. Thank you. The same thing can be done from equal spaces. Again, we're looking at South Africa here in white, and just one technical thing. What's really good is it's a small step into a big step. The other thing that's nice about this and equal spaces is that they're on a 45 stance, or these two are anyway. And if you look at his right foot and in particular, they have a similar defensive system. And once there's any sort of movement, it's very hard to defend. But it's a small step into a big plant, I should say. And you can see once there's movement, their initial reaction is 7-4. 7 knows he's just a lifter, so he thinks it's not me. Again, leads to an uncontested throw. All right, look, and it's pretty good quality. So that's a particular movement that I really like, and you can do that across the park, particularly from the middle to the back. That can be really effective. Then another option I like is turns, and I like turns both in this type of setting, and I like another turn that I'm going to show you in a while. So excuse me, I'll show it again. So what we're looking at now, I do this in a 1-3-1. I do it on full man lineups. I've done it on 6-man lineups. And actually Ireland are quite good at it. Particularly with someone like Peter Mahoney behind. James Ryan's actually quite good in terms of his footwork. They do it on a 1-4 split. Even you can see what it is. I do it on various different things too. But really, what we're looking at is just to kind of maybe deviate one tactical aspect or technical aspect is it's off the throw. So Ryan doesn't actually start the turn until Kelleher, the hooker, I should say, starts to come back, and it's a jump on the spot, and it's really hard to defend that, to be honest. Even if you're mirroring particular, okay, it's really hard to defend that. And even if you're on a hinge, yeah, it mightn't be as hard to defend, but it's still, the speed of it is pretty impressive. So that's a particular move that I'm a fan of, and that was a couple of years ago. That tip was a couple of years ago, but I've been a huge fan of it for a while. And just as a little mini break, I mentioned some of the things that I do. So one of the things that I'm kind of promoting at the moment is a subscription package on my Patreon. It's a new one aimed at heads of rugby and directors of rugby. It's a really good CPD tool, and I'm looking to kind of promote that a lot more at the moment. It's kind of a new enough offering, so it's actually really good feedback on it at the moment. So I'll be in touch with you on that. I also do have a lot of online courses and programs coming up. So I'll be doing Lineout Throwing at the Maul, line defense, learning to throw, building a Lineout menu, and a preseason pack, or preseason planning and prepping. They'll all be coming up as courses and programs in the next June, July. And then actually over the next, and for June and July, I've 4 places left on one-to-one stuff on one-to-small groups. I call it my Lineout buddy. So yeah, if people are interested in that, you can reach out to me and get on board. So say I've only 4 places left for the next kind of short period. So if it's something you're interested in, whether it be working with coaches or working with players or one-to-one, just let me know. Okay, so why do we have a menu? So we have a menu because, look, it feels good to have a menu, but no, we want to plan, we want to throw in deception, we want a variation, and it feels good to have some good options. I think that's really cool. Now within that, for me, there's the technical aspects, and then there's also the movements within each of those. So for me, though, we still need, before we do anything really, I think one of the most important things that comes out of today is probably this, is understanding defensive systems. Okay, so I appreciate I am speaking very quickly. Apologies about that if that is a bit tricky, if English isn't your first language, or even if it is your first language and the Irish is hard to get, or the English Irish. So I put this clip in because it's a lot of good New Zealand teams are excellent mirroring teams. I think they're excellent. And Lara Racing, I was going to say Racing 92 or Racing 92 are also an excellent mirror team. So I really like movements that challenge, particularly against mirrors. So I'm going to talk a bit more progressions now into actual movements. And as we progress things during the season, I really like movements that challenge mirrors and hinges where they have to go forward and then go back. And that's an example of it there, where there's an element of movement forward, and then we pull them back at speed, and it can be really hard to defend those particular movements. So I quite like those options. And I think going back to, like I said, one of the most important things I think that comes out of today is you need to know what type of defense you're up against. All right, so is it a mirror? Okay, is it a mirror and a hinge? Okay, is it a different type of hinge option where the difference between those two is the hinge is in the middle, whereas on this one you might be in a slightly different scenario where they've compressed the line a bit more. That can also be something you factor in. Or he's just a lifter, or is it a one-man lift? Again, it could be the same in a six-man. I see one-man lifts on six-man sometimes in the middle and the back of the line sometimes, on various teams, or is it something else? So there's loads of different options. You might do one-man lift there and incorporate your insert or your +1 to come in and be a front lift, for example. So whatever it is, you just need to know what defense system you're up against. All right, so there they are again. And basically what my point is, sorry, on that is that we're basically what I'm trying to challenge is as an attack is get them to bite forward. All right, sorry, get them to bite forward, and then I want to get into the space in there basically, or the spacing behind that. All right, so that's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to show a couple of clips here from Ireland, New Zealand a couple of years ago, and they're all similar movements. The first one's actually overthrown, although I possibly could have caught. But what they're all doing is they're all challenging that principle. So New Zealand are on a mirror, and if you notice, there's a movement forward. So Mahoney's just kind of slipping out of the lineout, and Ryan is coming forward as well. Number 5 is coming forward as well at the same time. So that movement forward is challenging the Sam Whitelock here in the middle. Because because they're on the mirror, this is where the confusion comes. Is he lifting 6 or is he jumping himself? And in the end, they both jump. So it's an uncontested throw, and I just missed it. For me, though, as I'm looking at the principle and the idea of it, I think that's pretty good. Okay. So, and I know they don't win the ball, but in terms of the method behind it, I think that's pretty good. All right. Then we're looking at, well, what did he do the next test? Same sort of concept. Okay. So get them to bite forward. Sorry, let's go back a second here. They get them to bite forward. So you can see Ritalik now, they're not, the Whitelock wasn't playing this game, but Ritalik is now challenged in the same way. I think it's going to be forward, but blue scrum pack is going to bounce out, and they're jumping just in behind that space. Again, biting forward at speed is really hard to defend. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. And if you're interested in any other additional resources like my subscription service, my Lineout Buddy program, or any of my online courses and programs, you can reach out to me on any of my social media channels or on my email, peter@thelineoutlab.com. Thank you.